So as you observe, this is House on Fire, okay? Represented by the pyramid down here. So when I started this, it's all about representing my root and my culture, okay? What I carry in my DNA. And that represents a lot of Africa. Kemet, where I come from, where I hail from, okay? So I reference a lot of pyramids, and even though I've never been to Egypt, I've never stepped foot in Egypt, it's just more about what my DNA is telling me and what my visions are, you know? So in this vision here, this is all smoke, okay? But there's details in the smoke, all right? So we'll take it step by step and I'll allow you to see what you have to see. And each observer has like their own eye, and each observer has something that they can interpret from this. So each one to their own, all right? So if we start from the bottom here, all right, that line right there, you can see the shadows and the shadows in here. So those are cracks starting to form, all right? So when we look at the ancient Egyptians and how they built the pyramids, a lot of people are wondering, how did they do this? And it's a wonder of the world, right? Whereas if you look at the creation itself, that's a wonder, yeah? So you have to look at how the angels built these pyramids, okay? And in their first formation, they were so perfect and so precise, probably covered in gold, probably covered in materials that human beings do not know of in this present day, okay? So if you look at them now, from the videos and photos that I've seen, they're slightly torn, right? Now you can just see the rocks and how they've been formed. And it's kind of naked, it's kind of bare. Even the Sphinx, yeah? The details have been taken away from that. So that's the cracks that I'm trying to show here. Where in my journey, I've not really had a base. I've not really had somewhere that I can say has been my place, right? I do not own a home. I do not own any I don't know, anything that I can call that this is okay, something that I built, okay? Whereas if you look at even in Sudan, right? And if you come back to east of Africa, you'll find that there's actually more pyramids, and it's just something that's been there. Like they were built there, before any other buildings were ever erected. So if you look at that precision and if you look at that, mathematical journey that they had to take to build this perfect pyramids, it just shows you how capable we are as human beings, right? How magnificent, powerful beyond measure, where in ancient times we were able to build structures like these that actually are more prominent than the ones built today. The ones built today can be bombed and they can just collapse in seconds, you see? But these pyramids have such a structural um they just have a structural beauty out of it, yeah? The beauty that you get from them is just something else. And the purpose that they hold, I guess, obviously, if you're cultural, you'll get to understand more and more and more, okay? But then on the sides there, I've left it blank, which means basically it's still sort of pure, hasn't been touched. But eventually, the cracks, you see, the cracks will sit, and eventually, yeah, everything broke. Yeah. So smoke came in from the inside and started eating the pyramid from the inside. So from the outside, it looks like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But the inside has been burned. So that's where the smoke is coming out. So I grew up as someone that was present in the church, okay? And someone that was kind of like led up to know that there is a pope that exists, all right? But for me, I never paid any attention to another man's um journey in terms of, okay, this is a priest, the priestess had a journey before they were a youth. This is the type of life that they led. And then now they're a pope. Now, I never looked into that. And even my interest, whenever spiked by, this type of thing that people used to lavish upon, that, oh, there's a pope, there's a pope, there's a pope, And one instant, I did my research and I was trying to find out, okay, so how do they choose its popes? And how does this man become so powerful in the world, right? And there's a thing that they do. I'm not really sure what it is that they do. I don't have the technological terms, but they put up smoke, and if the smoke comes out a certain color, then it means then someone has been chosen, right? So if you look at the smoke, obviously I do my stuff in black and white, but here, if we start here, this is a hand coming out of the smoke and reaching out to the bottom, to where the base of the pyramid is, to show that there was life inside. All right. So this hand is trying to seek help, and it's trying to go back into the roots. Yeah. Because again, life has this way of twisting and turning us into things that we end up doing that, do not align with our ancestral behavior, or do not align with what the Most High wants us to do, right? Because now, if you look at Pharaoh and in the Egyptian stories, and how he led the Israelites and kept them captive and tried to sort of use them as slaves, the Lord was angry, and the Lord sent a few plagues, yeah? And in the plagues, he was now able to believe that, oh, actually, there is a master, There's someone above, and these people cherish that person. So now you look at the whole story up until the end, where he was trying to follow them when Moses was leading them, right? And now the obstacle was the sea. And when he came to the sea, the Lord departed the sea. And now they were able to pass. And just when Pharaoh and his chariots came, oops, they fell in. Yeah? So that's that hand. Now it breaks again, goes into portions here, it goes into portions here. And these here are wings, okay? Wings of a butterfly. So in my language, I was never really sure what butterflies were called. But as I grow and as I do more research, they're called oguyuguyo, right? I don't know what it is in your language, but it sounds quite sweet in my language when you say oguyuguyo. Oh, there goes the oguyuguyo, yeah? Or there goes the oguyuguyos. So when you translate that into a human form, it's the transformation where you came out of darkness, yeah? You came out of darkness from the bottom, and then you rose up, okay? You went into that cocoon. So now you're in your cocoon, and then you grow into something else. You morph, right? You morph. You're born again. So you fly off, and then you take off, okay, as a butterfly. So in human form, a lot of people get to tattoo a lot of butterflies on their back, on their arms, or whatever, especially the ladies, yeah? And that's just a representation of the journey that they took, yeah? Where they say, okay, they experienced something, really dark in their life, and now they've overcame it, and now, yeah, they're flying high, right? So that's the interpretation there, where within the smoke, the butterfly has to rise, okay? They've had their seasons of metamorphosis, or morphing, or the change, or the rebirth, all right? So they're going to rise up, and they're going to go. Now, if you come up again here, that's again coming out of that shelf, yeah? Coming out of that shelf so that they can fly off. That one there, all right? So it goes up this other side, right? The smoke gets intense, gets darker and darker and darker, yeah? And it tries to seep back in on this other side. So we know that smoke is quite toxic, and you can get infumigated, yeah, or you can get, I don't know if that's the right word I'm using, but hey, we'll get there. When you inhale a lot of smoke, then your lungs are fucked up, yeah, or your lungs are, I guess, congested. Start coughing up, yeah, start coughing up, right? So as I say, in the African culture, we use fire a lot, yeah, and you know fire is a base element of life. So smoke is used to wear off bad energies, or it's used to, I guess, fend off mosquitoes, fend off other small little insects, and we know that you can burn incense, and that smoke kind of can, fumigate the house, or you can give the house a sort of good smell or whatnot. So in reference again to that Pope thing that I was talking about, where I guess there's a dark cloud or a dark smoke that comes out. So now this is representation of the dark smoke that releases out of you. Yeah. Now it's like that darkness that was within has came out into the air, and it's only got a brief moment to try find somewhere to settle in. And you notice it's trying to go back on the other side. Yeah. It's trying to go back so it can find a place that hasn't been terrorized yet, so it can sit back in, you know? And one of the earliest signs of fire is smoke, and you can't get fire without smoke, right? So it just shows again those spirits that are trying to intervene in your life, yeah? They only have a brief moment to try take over, because we know that, okay, this is an operational thing where we operate through spirits, and it's spirits that dwell in within our bodies, yeah, and once the spirit is no more, I guess it transitions, yeah, and that body is left. So that transition again, coming up, they're rising, yeah, they're rising. So comes up here again and becomes lighter, yeah. So now it's trying to look for a different form, yeah. And it rises up again, and then it's back to the top, yeah. So smoke rises, yeah, and it goes up and up and up and up, and there we go. That's a new chapter. And you notice the pyramid, or the base, or the house has a chance to be rebuilt, just the same way the pyramids have a chance to be, I guess, retouched, yeah. But human beings, present day human beings, do not have the type of knowledge that was there. So what did the ancient Egyptians do? Now, they pray in scripts, right? And they put it there in within the pyramids. The words and the images were all there to translate the ancient life, and then the afterlife, how they understood the afterlife. So all this is representative of the afterlife. Yeah. So it's preparing you, and the pyramid points up. Okay, so the energy going up comes back down, as above as below, right? So anything that is obviously coming from above has to enter in, and it's pointed down and enters the pyramid. So now we change the game. Okay, now the pyramid becomes the arrow. Okay, the pyramids becomes the bow and arrow, where, there we go, that's your arrow, where the cracks were, right? That can be used as the arrow. Okay, so this is the string. Okay, and you notice the hand that was seeking help now has charge and has taken over the bow and the arrow, and is ready to shoot. Yeah, it's ready to shoot at the enemy. Notice there, all right, pointed arrow right there where the cracks were at the base, where no one paid attention. Now that becomes the head of the spear. Okay, so this hand right there, in charge of all this, Remember, the hand was seeking help and was trying to go back down to the root. Now the hand is the stone that the builder refused. Okay, it has now become the head cornerstone. So anything that comes under that, yeah, has been represented already. So now this arrow right here can take on anyone, okay? And the string has already been pulled. So it's just awaiting. So again, this is representative of your life, of the human life, the human species. A life where, okay, you get through challenges. And we've talked about the oguyo, the butterfly, right? Where the butterfly has to transform and becomes great and then flies off, all right? Before that, it was a caterpillar crawling down, basically crawling down. And now it has been given the chance to fly, a second chance in life. So, Christ, what did he do? He came to restore people, yeah? Give people a second chance, give people that thing that they needed in life, the light that they needed in life for them to be able to fly off, okay? So, we're told that no one goes through to the Father unless they go through who? Christ. Yeah? Nobody goes to the Father unless they go through Christ. So in your challenges, you have to go through challenges before you can be transformed to become this armor, to become this soldier that's ready to, fight, ready to use the bow and arrow, you know? So it's as simple as that, where I'm talking about the transformation of my life. These things had happened to my life already. So I'm just putting them in as a form of art. Yeah. I've had the visions, I've had the experience, and the Lord has taught me to be patient and be kind, be humble, even though other people think that I'm being rude, and even though other people think that, I'm being collectively unfair, they don't understand my journey, right? Nobody understands my journey better than I do. All right. So when I'm interpreting all this, it's my own personal life. Okay. And I'm going to be ruthless to whoever does not understand the type of pain I've gone through to get here, to get where I am. You know? So if the Lord has given me this spear, this tongue, this sword, yeah, this arrow to fend off my enemies, then I'll use it. Okay? Because that's what the Lord wants me to do. Because as I say, it's a journey that the Lord took me through. So who can then come in and stop me? You know? When Christ died, he says, okay, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. Now, he died. He went to hell. He tried to get Satan to come up, yeah? Come up to heaven where he was before. But nope, Satan refused, right? So now, Christ left him, yeah? Christ became this new king, King of Kings, yeah, under a new name. So he resurrected, came back, and now he's the head here. Okay? Remember, he was at the bottom. Now he's the head arrow. Okay? And anything else is behind. Anything else, that experience, that dark experience, falls behind now. There was a chance. There was a chance there. There was a second chance there given to the devil to come back, but the devil refused. And that's when the mission was accomplished. So in my life, I've experienced that same thing where, like, right, you care for people and you are willing to die for people. But the Lord has told me, listen, just the sheer fact that you did that, come to me. I'm well pleased with you. Yeah. So regardless of whoever it is that's trying to pull you back. I know that it's love that you give, right? And that's your downfall. So let me restore you and give you the type of love that is very disciplined, yeah? Where you do know that I'm in charge and I'm the giver and I'm the taker, the Alpha and the Omega, right? The beginning and the end. So no one else can bother you, okay? So in that plight, I rose up and I says, okay, cool. Now I understand life. Now I understand that, okay, this thing called life is precious. And if you want it, right, it's the Lord that gives it. Yeah, it's the Lord that gives it. So they crucified me, rejected me, and that spirit rose, okay, and has been transformed. So now you're a new man, you know, you're a new man. So come hither and let me be your leader.